Most parents want the same thing for their child to have a better experience of puberty and growing up than they experience. There are moments we dread. The one where your child gets their first period at school or has an erection in the middle of class. You imagine the panic, the embarrassment, the oh no, what do I do moment that they'll experience. But here's the thing, you can't stop periods from starting or erections from happening. It's out of your control. But what you can control is how your child responds in these situations. Periods and erections, they're predictable. We know they're going to happen. And because they're predictable, we can actually prepare for them. Just like we practice fire drills, we can practice body change drills. I call them what if scenarios, and they're one of the most powerful tools for preparing autistic and ADHD kids for puberty changes. So let's talk about why these what ifs can turn panic into confidence for both you and your child. Puberty can be messy, unpredictable, and emotional, even for adults. But for autistic kids who thrive on predictability, it can feel completely intense or confusing. A sudden period leak or an unexpected erection can trigger sensory overload, panic, or shame, especially if they don't know what's happening or what to do next. But when they've rehearsed it before, when they've seen, heard, and practiced what to do, that predictability actually brings calm. They don't freeze or mask because they already know what's happening. And this is what I believe as an autistic person myself and from listening to other autistic voices over the years. And just so you know where I'm coming from, I'm an autistic mum, nurse, and sex educator who's been helping families with this stuff for over 25 years. Autistic kids, they don't need things sugar-coated, they just need clarity. So telling them that your body is changing actually isn't all that helpful, especially if that's the only message that they're getting. They need the real words: period, pad, erection, underwear, pubic hair, and they need clear steps for what to do. When we use clear, literal language, we're not overloading them. We're just giving them safety through understanding. So let's look at how to make these what if moments feel calm, concrete, and neuro-affirming. Start with one small, simple what if. When my daughter was about 10, we practiced what she'd do if her period started at school. Kept it really low key. She packed a little pouch with some spare undies, a pad, and some hand wipes or whatever else it was that she wanted in there. And then we acted it out. You'd go to the bathroom, change, but maybe if your pants are stained, put a clean pair on, wrap the pad, and then if you need to, tell the teacher. So that, 5 to 10 minute role play gave her more confidence than any big talk ever could. So preparation beats panic every single time. If we can practice crossing the road or what to do in a fire, we can practice puberty. It isn't awkward, it's life skills training. And for erections, it's the same idea. You can say, what if you get an erection when you don't want to? What if you're sitting on the bus and you've got an erection? And then you would walk through it together. You'd say you could cover it with your jumper, you could put your school bag on your lap, you could take some nice deep breaths and give some options. So it's not about teaching shame, it's about being prepared. So, what kinds of what if scenarios should you actually be practicing with your kid? Let's go through a few examples. Here are some of the most common ones to try. Periods. What if, so you might say, what if there's blood on your undies or on the chair? And you can teach, go to the toilet, wrap your jumper around your waist, use your pad, tell the teacher, and if you need to, call home if you haven't got a pad or anything there with you. Erections, you could say, what if you get one in public? And what you'd be teaching is cover it, take a big breath, it'll go away, and that's okay. Body odor, what if someone teases you about being smelly? So you practice self-care, deodorant, clean clothes, making sure you're showering regularly, letting them know that if you put deodorant on a smelly armpit, it's going to make the smell worse, not better. So what I guess I'm getting at is by, giving calm responses like this and reassuring them that everyone's body changes and it's normal can be super, super helpful. And I've seen too many kids go into meltdowns over something simple like a wet patch in their armpit or a bit of blood. Not because it was dramatic, but because no one had told them it might happen. So, look, let's wrap up with what keeps this working and how to make it a part of everyday life. The key is repetition. One talk won't do it. You might revisit a what if every month, just like you check the batteries in a smoke alarm. Stop. Let's go back to that. The key is repetition. One talk won't do it. I don't remember the talk that I had. I have no memories. I don't even know if I had one. But I asked my big sister, and she remembers when I had it because my mother took me into her bedroom and closed the door. And that never happened at our house. We were never allowed in their bedroom. And so my big sister, being who she is, listened at the door to see what was happening. So I have no recall of that. I think I must have been 9 or 10. I remember nothing. So if that was my only opportunity to learn about puberty, love, sex, and relationships, it was a wasted conversation. She may as well have not talked at all. So that's why we need repetition, and that's not why we need small. So by repetition, you might revisit the what if every month. So what if you were on the bus and this happened? Or what if you went out with some friends and this happened? So just like you check the batteries of a smoke alarm, keep it you want to repeat it, but you also want to keep it casual and playful as well. If you can laugh about it together, you're already teaching that this sort of stuff is normal. It's every day. When my son started to grow pubic hair, it wasn't actually a big deal. He knew it was going to happen, and he quite proudly told me that he'd found hair down there with a big point with his fingers. So there was no panic, no tears. It was just calm. And that's what we want, predictability and not panic. So if we can practice spelling tests and fire drills, we can practice puberty. It's not weird, it's smart, it's kind, and it's how we build confidence. And if you've ever wondered if your autistic child has understood what you've taught them, click on the screen right now and I'll show you some simple ways to do this without turning it into a test.